welcome to the Retail Podcast live from Groceryshop. And yes, we are in a Shark Tank. Really making me work for my money. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Michelle Weiskittel.
I head up media, creative, and operations for Albertsons Retail Media Network.
So what we're going to talk about, obviously retail media is a massive part of the show and what CPG brands and grocers are focused on. And what better way to unpack what this means by looking at how one US grocer is tackling that problem and driving value, I would say, for their CPG customers. So Michelle, why don't we just maybe give us an overview of the team that you work for, what you do within Albertsons, how you're set up, and then we'll go into what you actually do for the CPG customers.
Sure. So we were having a chat and we were talking about retail media. Is it a retailer or is it a media company? We are a media company within our retailer. It's really important to understand that this media company is operated in the context of the retailer, because when you put the retailer and then our core endemic clients, the CPGs, together, we have a shared customer. And we're really committed to making sure that we ensure a good customer journey through bringing that to life with behaviors and moments that matter to our customers. So first off, we are structured in that I lead up the media, creative, and operations. We have a client success team that is really that voice of the customer working with our CPGs directly. And then we have our product teams, our analytics team to make sure that we're bringing that measurement back to that experience that we're driving. But most importantly, when you think about our structure within a retailer, we have a strong relationship with our merchant teams. And the reason why is because our merchants know their category of business extremely well.
The best, yep.
And what we do then is really build the media solutions around our shopper behaviors and also those moments and the insights from the merchants themselves and that collaboration with our CPGs and endemics.
It feels like this is a subject we can literally spend a whole day talking about because there are so many aspects of it. I noticed that Albertsons sort of put together a collective to actually provide that value through a partnership that you're doing with. Can you talk about the collective, like who is in the Albertsons collective and what each sort of partner, would you refer to them as a partner? They're doing like Capgemini and the likes?
Yeah, so when we say collective, we really are thinking first and foremost about, again, that customer and that shopper of our stores. So I gave one example of our merchants. We do have some partnerships in place and some partnerships that we're really excited about. One of those partnerships is with Capgemini, but really it starts with a fundamental principle around how we want to improve the experience for our customer, the shopper, but also our clients, the CPGs. We have begun on a journey to really look at our end-to-end workflow, use our media and creative knowledge, and isolate areas where we can get productivity. Now, that may not sound that exciting, but being able to decrease our time to market and to bring that experience to our shoppers sooner is really important for our CPGs. And we are focusing in on creative, particularly in the area of QA. The process of creative for a CPG to work with a retail media network is a lot.
Yeah.
They have to blend their standards, their brand voice, along with what we know about our shoppers and our brands, because we are providing that shoppability. So that QA process of reviewing brand standards and just, standard needs of getting creative live, we will be launching something that will help our productivity there and save at least one day to market.
Is this, were you doing retail media prior to this?
No, I wasn't doing retail media prior to this. What I was doing is, so prior to retail media, I was working on our enterprise marketing side at Albertsons companies. And I really came and took this job at Albertsons companies for marketing because we had a built-out loyalty program with
a really big fish just swam past. That was just like, oh my God, remember I said that.
They were hearing you say loyalty, and they were probably very excited about how they could...
just for people would see this big fish swim past, I would be like, anyway, yeah, that fish down there. Swordfish, I think, or maybe not. But anyway, apologies.
So I came to Albertsons because they had a collection of loyalty and a drive to even enhance their digitally engaged shoppers in a privacy safe way.
Yeah.
And so that concentration on the customer was why I came. And then when I saw the value that could be created for CPGs, when I was still on the marketing side of the house, we started doing events because moments like shopper moments are important to drive incremental trips, but they're also really important to drive that brand loyalty. And particularly that's where CPGs wanted to lean into those shopper moments to drive that loyalty.
What's been one thing that surprised you doing this when you're talking to brands and you're talking to them about taking them on this journey with Albertsons? What's some of the sort of surprising things that you weren't expecting?
Well, I think it becomes really a two-pronged approach. So some of it isn't surprising. Mm-hmm. We've worked in an objective by KPI framework since we've launched our retail media network.
Got you.
We know that there are certain business challenges that our CPGs have that, again, through our insights about our customers' behavior and by running the media in the right way based off of whether we're trying to drive awareness or even sales, and then closing that loop with measurement, we can really solve that in a repeatable way.
Wow.
So that's really where the expectation of that part I knew. Yeah. And that's where we're also bringing in AI into the process because there is much more of a repeatable framework there. The part that is exciting and expand is that we can really build a relationship on those behaviors. So by allowing kind of the repeatable process to be there, we can do things like launch our influencer network where we can create that connection and that custom content based on behaviors, either in the seasonal moment based off of, hey, we know that this group of shoppers likes convenience, let's tap into that. Yeah. Or localization, which is really core to Albertsons and companies, since grocery is a local experience.
And I presume that's how Albertsons sort of positions themselves within the US market, right? In terms of providing those experiences for their customers in a local environment. So, I mean, if I was one of the big Coca-Cola, Pepsi, one of these big sort of already established CPG companies, and I came to you, does your retail media network purely focus on the stores? Where does it start and where does it stop, the network that you have?
Sure. I mean, it's not just about the stores. The stores are a component in that full funnel channel strategy to reach the customers. Yeah. But again, if you think about what we know about our shoppers, their behaviors, either tied to moments and seasonality, or just the behaviors that they demonstrate based off of their purchase history, all in that loyalty card, privacy safe way, we can really help brands build a relationship and testing strategies. So that's where, if I was Coke, I would be focused on using the insights that we have around our shared customer, because we sell a lot of Coke in our stores.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Solving their...
And Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
And the others.
Okay, all of them. And I have to say, I was asked what my favorite food brand was the other day, and I said, I can't answer that question.
Yeah, all of them.
I work for a grocery retailer.
Yeah.
But what I would say is I would focus on solving my core business challenges that are retailer specific. Yep. But then I would think about how in brand strategy do I want to use that same insights and behaviors to really make more of an impact and prove out the results of what I'm doing with customers in a larger way. Because there are shopper-centric problems, but then there are insights that can be carried into larger media strategy frameworks.
Just jumping around a little bit, in terms of going back to the AI outcomes, where do you find that your customers are asking you, where are those AI sort of focused elements? What's adding the most value to them? So where does that conversation go?
Sure. So, AI is really simple if you break it down into two components. productivity and performance. That's what our goals are measured against. Again, where we really started our process is on productivity. We want to make it easy for our CPGs to get their message in front of our shoppers. So many of our initial use cases are really focused in on that productivity gain. We set out the partnership of having an estimate of a 20% productivity gain, but really we think based off of some of our initial use cases as well as some expanded work that we've done internally.
Can I do
we can
just because I'm not very familiar with it? So the 20% productivity gain, is that where
time to market?
Okay.
Yeah.
For the brand.
For the brand. So they engage us, they tell us I have a marketing objective.
Yeah. And you can shave 20% off that and get them straight off to it.
Yes. Why the time to market is really important is because at the end of the day, especially in those shopper-centric programs, we're solving a business need. So perhaps they're launching a new product. Perhaps their category share is declining. And that's really where we can help solve those business challenges. And some of those business challenges are perhaps known, like, hey, I'm bringing a new product to market. There's obviously an immense planning that goes into that. But if a category share is shifting, they may want to react more immediately. So we have to be prepared for both scenarios.
Yeah.
One in which, we can do customized planning for a new product launch.
Yeah.
Or we can also get that to market quickly. But for those category shifts, that can be more of an immediate lever.
I got you. In terms of looking towards the future, sort of coming towards the end of the interview, how do you see the expansion of what you've started and where the market is going?
Well, I think we're on the beginning of this journey, and I'm really excited to be on this journey. There is so much that can be done to enable efficiencies, which will then help drive performance. And by performance, I really do mean the incremental action that happens as a result of these media campaigns.
Got you.
That could be sales, that could
conversion,
be
right? So
some sort of conversion. And, we started very simply with both creative and media, but continuing to layer on that. One of the things that I've said around AI is someone still has to define the task to be done. And you have to have great knowledge around the process of media and who you're servicing in order to define those tasks and continue to refine. The models will learn and they will make it better, but you also need someone to help continue that process.
I got you. I did say that was the last question. It's just one of the things, and I promise this will be one of the things I've picked up at the show, talking to a few sort of younger CPG brands. They're just, they're sort of starting out. They're, I don't know, make chewing gums, organic. They're just making something small. Is there a place for them to come to sort of have that retail media conversation, or do you feel it's only sort of, if you were your ideal customer for this? Is it the big Unilevers and Nestle's of this world?
It's both.
Right.
And that's,
because you were talking about the local, and that was why I was curious about that.
It is both. And the reason why it's both is, and that's really where we shine as this media company. When I talked about that objective by KPI framework, that's really something that a smaller CPG can leverage because we have experience with our shoppers and we know how to drive that awareness. And then we could measure the impact for them and close that loop. But yes, there is, still room for the Unilever where we have that concentrated process of understanding their objectives, doing custom planning, and really integrating with our merchants for someone like Unilever.
I got you. Are there any sort of trends that you're seeing within the retail media in general, or within the categories?
Yeah. So one of the interesting things that has been happening is this classification of specialty retail media network or more retail commerce-centric media. And then you have even new entrants like financial services building media networks. Yeah. For me, what was really interesting when I was spending some time with the specialty retail networks was their emphasis on content and influencers, but really having high control over the process. Where we are right now is we have more of a hybrid approach in that we let our brands come through with their messages because we know we have that shared customer, and we are, thinking about our influencer network and how we put more of a voice on bringing our shoppers to life through content and the integration of influencers. But I I think that there's something to be learned from the specialty and really what they're doing of controlling that experience around their customers.
That's fantastic. Michelle, thank you so much for giving us the time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thanks.